Valentine's Day. I don't care about Valentine's Day. And he was laughing because, oh God, Valentine's Day is a Friday at the office. It's going to be mayhem. And it's just like, whatever. So we were at the grocery store last night and I wondered why I walked into the grocery store and there's this huge display of Valentine's. It's just like all of a sudden, it's like you walk in, it's like, whoa, where did all this stuff come from? Oh yeah, that's great.
Right.
And then I go over to the steaks because I was picking up some pork. Actually, I was good pork. And then I was getting the pork. I looked over at the steaks. I'm like, oh wow, that's a really good price. That's a really good price. How come steaks are so cheap? Oh, Valentine's Day. Oh,
Yeah.
steaks. And so I got two steaks, like big steaks. They're sirloins. I didn't care. I like sirloin personally. And I cooked that today for dinner because James was like, I don't want to cook it. Because he was supposed to go running after work today because he's supposed to be training. He still has not done.
Uh-huh.
And I'm
Uh-huh.
like, that's okay. We still have some time. Like, if he doesn't start training by next week, we're going to um, kick him into gear. You're like, you cannot go on a race without training. Hey, Monica. Hey, Jennifer. So, anyway, so I cooked the steaks tonight, and the key to cooking a steak. You get it up to room temperature, ideally. You throw in some seasonings. You get a hot nonstick dry pan or cast iron, whatever. Uh, toss it on there for 3 minutes. Turn it over for another 3 minutes. Turn off the heat. Let it sit for 10 minutes. It's done. But James is the cook that has to poke things, has to add things, has to flip it. I'm like, leave it alone. You mess it up because you're making it too difficult. Leave it alone. Hey, Jeanette.
Welcome in, everybody, to
Hello,
Thursday Chats. Monica, Jennifer, Jeanette, Craig, Morella,
I actually cooked
Heidi.
dinner. So we were just talking about the dinner I cooked. My sister was like, "That doesn't look like you said what you said you were going to cook." I know, I know. I just go to the grocery store with all these grand plans, and then I don't make whatever it is I plan. So this is dinner. It's steak and cabbage. So it's just fried cabbage with
Nice.
there's a yeah. So it's perfect. It came out perfect. Fried cabbage with onions,
Meowdy.
and then I feel proud of me. But still, I was calculating the dollars, probably about a $20 dinner. But that's great because there's leftovers and it wasn't fast food. Like we spent $20 at more than $20 at McDonald's for crap. So, yeah.
Yeah. Hi,
Hey, Dee.
Chris.
Chris. Yeah. Hello, all of our friends. So I hope everybody got to watch some of the Galentine's videos. I haven't finished them. There's so many of them, and one of these
Yeah.
days, this is why I don't do collabs. Like I love doing this, but getting YouTube Studios, all the listing of all the videos and listing all the
Mhm.
ats, I still screwed up. I still didn't at people correctly. I'm like, I swear this is. I don't know. I don't know. I know not. One of these days, I will get the editing part where I put the name and the video in the right way.
Right.
Like, Chris says, I had apple pie slice for dinner. Zero regrets.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Still walking, though, Chris?
So if you haven't seen the Galentine's, watch this hat. I haven't stopped wearing it since I did that video. People are like, "Do you
It's
have two of
cute.
those hats? I've been seeing you with that hat on." And I'm like, and my videos are 3 to 4 weeks behind time. My lives are current time. So that's why I always date my live because I always like, well, when did this get published and when did this get edited?
Hi, Kim.
And if I can remember, hey Kim, I try to say when I am filming and when it's posting so people don't because a lot of times I say, hey, I'm not feeling well, and then I'll get all these please feel better, and then I'm like, well, that was 3 weeks ago, I feel better now. So I don't want people to
Right.
get confused. Yeah. Oh, that's a great idea, Jeanette. I have to do that. Hey Kim, I I am the most sincere when I say this, Kim. This hat alone would have been Totally. I was over the moon. As you can see in my video, I love this hat. Have not stopped wearing it. Love it.
Pineapple
And I
blonde.
have a lot of hats. I have Stitch hats. I have all types of hats. I have tons and tons of hats. This one is like by far my favorite. Um, yeah, Chris, those are words that are like I live my life by. The
Oh,
older I get,
yes.
the more I hate cold rain. The older I get, the more I hate cold, period. Cold is cold today. We did not nobody. Let me show you the photo. I took a photo of my husband and the fur children this morning, and this is them.
Nobody wants to get out of
Nobody
bed.
wanted Nobody wanted to get out of bed. Nobody. James didn't. The puppies didn't. Nobody wanted to get out of bed. We're like, no, no, we want to stay right here, Dad. And we were like, sorry, kids. Sorry, kids. We gotta go so you can live at home.
Have a good walk, Katie.
Yay! Let's see. What did Chris say? I want to get a heated toilet.
Heated
Oh my
toilet.
God, that's one step too much. One step too much for
It's
me.
it's
It's
a
not
work
that
expense.
cold here. You know, that's always expense. You do
Oh, my
understand though,
goodness.
when I had to work from home during the pandemic times, my cost of utilities, cost of toilet paper, I'm like, I did not realize how much I used my office facilities and didn't have to think about that added money. Because when we would
Right.
go to work, we would just turn the heat whichever way to make it tolerable, but not like cold or too hot or so. But and then you set it so that when you come home an hour before you get home, it sets to the right temperature, so we weren't paying to cool a house when it was 100 degrees, too much. You still can't do it too too high because it takes too much energy to cool it down again. But anyway,
Right.
I was just like, work from home is for the birds. My husband loves it. I hate it. I hate it. I need my home to be my sanctuary. It needs to be my place of rest. Some people can, if I work from home, this room used to be a home office, and for a year after um, it stopped being a home office, I didn't come back in here for an entire year. That's how much nope, that's work, and I would walk right by it. So if you have the space in your home to have a dedicated home office where it just does that, that's cool. You know?
It's true.
Kim, yes. My first added expenditure for me was yes. She says toilet paper when I worked from home. Yeah, yeah, it's ridiculous. I
It
didn't
is.
have
It's
any
part of your
idea.
office supplies.
Well, it just adds up. And printer paper and toner and getting the printer, and we increased our internet connection to get a faster connection. And it's
Right.
just like I was like, we were spending an extra $100 a month, easy, on stuff that we didn't pay for before.
Right.
And of
Yeah.
course, after we went back to the office, we still kept the high-speed internet, so we still paid for that.
Oh, yeah.
Like whatever. And we're changing our internet. Pray for me.
Really?
We're moving over to fiber or cable or something. Not cable. I think fiber optics, because
Welcome in, Ed.
they finally, yeah, so I'm like, so it should install at the end of the month on a
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday. Thank goodness, not on one of my regular live days, because I'm like, excuse me, no internet. And
Hi,
so
Orlina.
so hopefully
Bella.
that'll work
Blah, blah,
out.
blah. Jen.
Yeah, you have to close the door. But so when I was doing the Galentine's thing, when I was doing my opening stuff, totally in love. And I was so stressed out when I did this because I picked, if you know, Nancy Carnes. Now she's awesome.
Right.
She sent me a birthday gift. We've texted a few times, so we aren't big, huge friends. Like I don't really know a lot. I watch her
Mhm.
because she has pugs and I love her pugs, and she loves perfume and I love perfume. Like we love a
Yeah.
lot of the same things, but I'm like, and her list was pretty short because the thing on Elster was you as the person building your profile, you have to put in there either a text message saying this is what I like, and it's not easy to do. It's not intuitive. What is intuitive is making a wish list through a platform and tagging products. That's intuitive. That's actually easy to do, and that's exactly what Elster's meant for. Pretty much. Hey, this person has a wish list. This is what they love. Get them this. You go to their Amazon site. You click yes. You click send. You buy it. It goes right. So, um, Jackie got
Yeah,
Nancy.
I
Nancy
saw
got
that
me.
because I did see Kim and Nancy. So yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, they got
So,
each
so
other.
Nancy had a book on her list. The book she had on her list was that Louis Vuitton book. And by the way, I think she needs to change her UPS box location because I don't think there's a problem with her poster box. I think there's a problem with those employees because
Right.
that box was supposed to be gift wrapped with a tag. The only error on there was that I had put one digit off from her post box number. So it's like, 123 after 124 or
Oh,
something. And her name is Nancy Carnes. How many people do you know by the name of Carnes? I mean, I don't know, maybe where she lives there's a lot, but it's not like it was like John Doe. Or Jane Doe. It's not like the most common name in the world. So I was like, girl. And then when she made a fuss, it's not because they happened to find it. They opened that box. They took it out of the packaging, took off the note, and had it back there. When she showed me, I'm like, I paid $5 for packaging. Amazon packaging is expensive, and I'm just like, but that book was actually on her list, the Louis Vuitton trunk book, and then
right.
I saw. When I watched Nikki from Somehow Adulting show that book about the handbags, I just like, I need that back. I need it. I need it.
Yeah.
But it's expensive. But
Yeah.
by the time I went to go get it, when Nikki showed it, it was expensive, right? And then I went to Amazon, and by the time I was ready to pay to buy Nancy's gift, when I had got paid or whatever, it had gone on sale by $20 at least. So it went
Oh,
from like,
that's good.
yeah, so it went like not half price, but not full list price, right? And it's an amazing book. I need this book myself. I need to buy it myself. And and it's, some of the coach group says that there's only like I think 2 pages dedicated to coach, but who cares? The reason I did it is because Nancy has a huge collection of bags. She has an
Yeah.
amazing collection, eclectic, not just one brand. She's not just a coach person, not just a Dooney person. So I'm just like, please like your book because I know it's a brainiac thing to do, but I love I love books. And who doesn't love getting books like that? And it was brand new, which is brand new, not just brand new purchased, brand new published. That's why I knew I could buy it because you never know what people have on their shelf. But a brand
Right.
new, just published book, I'm like, there's no way she has this book. You know,
Welcome in, Bricanna. Ed. I do
so
still have the Nomad Speedy 20 from
you will have to
Winnie.
pry that out of her hands. She will never give that up, Ed.
That's
That
the
was the
truth.
thought.
That's a forever bag.
She will never pry that back from her hands.
No, that's one of the forevers. I have a couple three that aren't going anywhere. And
So
that's one of them.
I filmed a video today because I finally got a box that I've been waiting to get. This has been on layaway with a friend for like 3 to 4 months now,
Yeah.
and it showed up. And I'm going to show
Excellent.
this to you. Sneak peeks. I'm going to keep one a surprise. But eventually, if you follow my Instagram, y'all will see these anyway, because this video won't even go out until like middle to end of March. But this bag
Right.
I have to show you.
Okay.
Uh,
That's pretty.
I have been after this bag for so long. There's
What is
only
it?
one bag. This is an Ace satchel by Coach. This was part of their 19, I believe this is part of their 19, Marilla, if you're on here, let me know. This is part of the, I think
She
the
is.
1941, yeah, 1941 line, when they had the 1941 line, which they say they did discontinue, but they, whatever. But this is a satchel, guys. This bag is a beauty. The only other bag I am still hunting and I don't have, and if anybody has it for a reasonable price, around $200, the Ruby, please, the Ruby Coach Ruby satchel. I'd love one. I don't care what condition. It doesn't have to have the key cliche. I doesn't even have to have a strap. I just need to have the satchel. But she had this. My friend Estella had this, and I'm like, Estelle, do
It's really pretty.
like, do you have an Ace? And she's like, I have one minute. And she was looking at her stuff, and she goes, Jackie, did you get this bag? And I'm like, you have it? And I said,
That what color would you call that?
from you? Oxblood. That's what Coach
Oxblood?
calls it.
Okay.
Yep. And yes, it's gorgeous. And Craig, no, you can't have it. Craig loves this bag. It's medium. It's medium. It's not mini and it's not large.
How do we
That's
feel
so
about bag
cute.
trends? See, this is plum, isn't it? Craig, what
Yeah.
bag is this? It's a Henry Bendel.
Beautiful. Oh, Morella, this bag is amazing. This bag is amazing. This bag, Keith, is from Coach. Jolie's bag is from Henry Bendel. And no, both of these bags are no longer in production, which is why. Why, Coach? Why do you make beautiful things and then discontinue them? Why do you make the most amazing bags and then say, we're done making this bag. We don't want this one anymore. Like, this
Well,
is gorgeous. The other one I want,
Coach
so
makes the
this,
one that she has, and Henry Bendel makes the one that I showed.
yeah. Gorgeous. I'm not sure the name. I got it from D.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay,
Thank you
so
for
I do
chiming
have
in.
an unboxing. I do have an unboxing. This is a very expensive item. Essentially, I bought this full price because when I ordered this, Jackie wasn't looking at her bank statements or, debit account. I wasn't
Not
looking at
paying
bank
attention.
numbers. And I didn't realize we were negative to the point where every charge got an extra fee. So, whatever
Oh,
I saved on this, I have made it, I bought it full price. So, let's hope I love it.
thank you, Apple Blonde.
'Cause, it's mine now.
That I
I will
got
wear it
in a
tomorrow.
trade with Craig. And
Mhm.
inside that bag, he put the little burrow, which is really cute.
Thank you, Apple Blonde. Oh, I love that. That is so cute. So, those who know. This is it. It looks black, but it's actually a navy blue. And this is the Disney cruise line emblem, the three waves.
Yes.
And in it says Disney Cruise Line. So these normally
Oh,
retail
cool.
85 and $89. This is called a Spirit jersey. I love them. This is a men's 2XL. I will totally be wearing this tomorrow. And this is absolutely gorgeous. So I got this for a good price until you put in my charging fees. So I essentially bought this at full price. But that's okay, because this type of merchandise normally, unless it goes into the outlet and you find it randomly, you can only get these on the boat. So Disney is amazing at merchandising. They'll put their cruise stuff on cruises. It doesn't matter if you go to the resort, it's not there because this goes on a boat. If you're on the boat, the stuff at the resorts aren't on the boat. So when you go to Disney Orlando, pro tip, go to visit, you can just go visit all of the resorts and go look at their gift shops, and they have exclusive merch per location. Yep. Hey, Aaron.
Hi, Aaron.
So I'm wearing that tomorrow. Yeah. Something's happening tomorrow. I have something to do tomorrow. And I have one more unboxing. So tomorrow the likelihood of having an unboxing is very low. Because I got mail today. So this is what I bought this, and I'm really hoping you'll understand why I bought this. Um, I sold some jewelry last week, and so I was looking at my jewelry box, looking at my earrings, and I wanted to get a different pair of earrings in my ears. And I really didn't like what I had. And I was poking around the jewelry box. And I was like, I don't like this. And then I was looking around on Macy's. They're having some, I don't know, some sale. Macy's is always having, I mean, honestly, I look at all my purchases in life as is it on sale? Because I feel like full price is a bad word. Full price is a word I try to avoid. I don't like paying full price. I was that
Of
kid
course not.
that looked at price per minute for phone calls for international on the
Right?
AT&T bill to know when the cheapest time to call my mom was. That's me. That was me then. My dad didn't. He got upset. He was like, no. So, okay, this doesn't have the price on here.
I already did my
Oh,
unboxing from Amazon today because what I got was an extra small little dog harness to take Pebbles on a walk around the yard today. So,
okay, so this is nobody is surprised. Nobody's surprised, right? So this is a sterling silver, and this is why I picked
oh,
this
good.
because you have
Yeah.
to be careful. Sometimes um, items are not um, sterling,
Aw,
and I just loved it. Um, Yeah, I just loved it. So I'm like, so I was
nail
actually
suspended
looking
because
at
of
some
weather.
really cute, they had some really adorable cherries I wanted for my ears, but the cherries were not they weren't Disney for one. And second,
Eh.
the cherries were um not they were brass brass with sterling over brass, which
No,
doesn't
no.
work for me. So these ones are sterling silver, and I wanted to wear these because I have two piercings. So up here is these are from also from the Disney. I bought these when I was in Disney
Springs?
in September.
Yeah.
So and because I was wearing some different earrings, and when I was wearing the earrings I wore, I lost one.
Yeah, I hate that.
You know, so I
No,
was like,
no.
great. Another reason why I do not spend a fortune on my
Hi, Maria.
jewelry, um, the earrings for some reason I will lose because I'm wearing headphones a lot and I sleep in my earrings. Is there a Saya here? Wait, I see hi Saya, but I don't see Saya's name pop up yet.
No, me either.
Let me see if I can get these in here. Yes, I'm using my monitor as a mirror. Who doesn't? Everybody does this. Oh, these have awful earring backs. These have those crappy,
Oh, the other thing I got
um,
was a trail cam. Because I'm going to show you a picture of the top of my chicken coop. I don't know if you'll be able to tell. Look
how
at
did I
that.
buy, like somehow lose, oh, here's the earring back. I'm like, how did I lose my earring back already?
Can you
Oh,
see the top
whoa.
of my chicken coop?
I see chicken feet.
Those aren't chicken
Those are
feet.
footprints. What are they?
Well, I don't know. We're gonna
Hawks?
set up a trail cam. That
Oh,
this one here
you have a
that says
raccoon.
raccoon to me, right there.
Yep, trash panda right there.
Yep. And here's the reason for the chickens. Of course, that's kind of
Eggs,
still dirty, but
eggs, eggs, eggs. Hey, I think it's smart to, yep, definitely some things like there's food in here, and we know there's food in here.
yeah,
Um, Fox print. Oh, Craig says they're fox prints.
sure do look like
Those things
it.
are sneakies too.
It
Mm-hmm.
also looks like on top of the roof, they were scratching.
Yeah, they're like, how can we get in here? The good thing you have one of those really good coops.
Yeah, they
Okay,
can't
which
get in. There's no way they can get in it. And the chickens now put themselves in their coop, so that's good.
they're like, we know where to go. This is
They have a
home.
light that comes on and then it has an automatic door that closes. Of course, we had to open it because one of them straggled tonight. After the chickens. Yeah, we're gonna set up a trail cam out there and watch. Of course, they might not come back now.
They'll come back. Yeah. I was listening to Nikki from Somehow Adulting. She was
Yeah.
talking about exotics today. And I haven't finished the video because I got distracted, but she started off talking about the python problem down in Florida and about
Oh, in the
how
Everglades.
bad it is. Oh my
Oh, it's
gosh,
gotten
really
terrible.
bad. I was like, what? So apparently, at one point, breeders would just let the pythons out
Pythons go.
and let
Hmm.
them and then go catch them and sell them when they got big enough. So the problem is they've decimated the local populations, and apparently, like there's this iguana that's also like not cool that is
Right?
eating all of the small mammals. It's not native. So here are the earrings. Yep, these are
Those are
perfect for
cute.
Valentine's.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. So anyway, I it was interesting. I don't know if anybody, yeah, pythons are pests. Well, pythons aren't pests where they're native. They are pests here. And I was like wondering, like, what the heck did pythons eat in Southeast Asia? Did what little mice and what little animals are in Southeast Asia that aren't here? That they eat, because apparently all the rabbit population's been like decimated and um
Yeah, but are pythons native to a swampy area, or it seems like they'd be in drier
oh,
areas.
they're native
The
to
anacondas are the
swampy.
ones that like the water, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, no, Southeast Asia is where they're from. They're actually native to Cambodia, Vietnam area. So, yeah. But I'm just like, because they're
Well,
talking about
Cambodia
and
has a lot of
so,
swampy areas, so
well,
there you
Southeast
go.
Asia in general is very humid and
Tropical.
wet. But I'm like, what I want to know is what are the plants or what are the animals that are different in Southeast Asia that are not in the Everglades that it's decimating the population of whatever the local small mammals are.
Well, they're
You
eating
know,
alligators.
well, I don't see that's the problem. Boa constrictors are huge.
I don't
You know,
want a bunch of dang boa constrictors eating the gators. Gators are cool. They're fine.
that
Well, when you grow up here and you
you're
go to
used to it.
places like Rock Springs, Silver Springs, all the
Hmm.
springs and stuff, we're used to alligators being around, and we still swim in the rivers. It's not a
Yeah, see, I wouldn't
thing.
do that. But when I
It's
lived in
not a thing.
Thailand, king cobra snakes were everywhere, and so were pythons and all these other things. And I had no problem swimming and walking through. I walked and ran through elephant grass. Y'all have never seen elephant grass. It's
Tall,
taller
yeah.
than it's like 10 feet tall in swamp wet areas, and we didn't care. We
It's
were
going back
playing
and
in the
forth.
dang fields, like y'all.
Yeah.
Stuff. The fact that I lived through my childhood doing what we did, ah, it's like yeah,
And I
we
think Dee's
must
right.
leave.
I think that some of the alligators are eating some of the pythons, but they've pulled a lot of
Hmm.
pythons out with alligators in them too. So, and if they eat them when they're young, well, then they don't grow up and mate.
But it
You
was
swim
interesting
in the
because
rivers, not me. Did you
uh,
grow up here,
I didn't
Dee?
finish. Oh, Dee's native.
Is
She's a
she?
native Floridian. She's one
Yeah,
of
we
the
did. We
very
we
few
swam.
people I have met that is native to Florida. Like the only person. I always ask people, "How did
You
you
met
end up in
Darla.
Florida?" And I
Darla's a
and
native.
I oh, is she okay? And
Yeah.
I'm okay. Now I've met two. So when I was talking to Dee and we were talking, like, well, how did you end up in Florida? Because well, I was born here. I was like, what?
It's where my
It's like
parents were when I
I
was
have.
hatched.
I'm like. You were born here? I'm like, I haven't met too many people, like literally two people. Because I'm like, I grew up watching the Golden Girls, who they were in Florida. I thought I wanted to move to Florida and have a house with four women. I mean, I bought into the dream, you know.
And then when the kids were toddlers, we didn't, of course, just throw them in the river because they're the right size for a quick gulp, right? But if we
Mhm.
were on a canoe trip or something, what we would do is form a circle, all the adults, and the kids would play in the circle. in kind of a shallower area. But the springs where I grew up and that we went to are clear. They're crystal clear. So they
Yeah.
can't sneak up on you.
Yep, no sneaking. But see, when I think of gators, I actually kind of think more of the swamps of Louisiana, less the prettiness of Florida. Because Louisiana, it still looks like swamp. Now, Florida might have started
Yeah.
out as a swamp, but it was infilled.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I was watching Nikki's video about exotics, and she talked about
Right.
elephant skin wallets, and I I I, I had those. Had those.
Well, yeah, well,
Elephant
that's
skin is
because of where
super,
you
super,
got them,
super.
though.
They're super, super, super durable, like extremely durable. It was kind
I
of
would
funny because
imagine.
Nikki was talking about this. A lot of these exotic skins were uh the refinement of people who like luxury leather goods. A lot of these exotics don't come in that realm when you're going to places where they might be from natively, right? So I was thinking about listening to Nikki's video, and I'm thinking, I guess it's not normal for your aunt to take you to the poachers in Chinatown in northern Thailand to buy illegal
Animal skins.
hides. It was a tiger skin, and that's illegal, by the way,
Oh,
to
well,
have in
yeah.
even in Asia. And we went to the upstairs room of this apothecary, Chinese apothecary. So this is the Chinese medicine, uh, because there's a lot of things in Chinese medicine also that is no longer allowed. So we went to the where the poachers lived, and my aunt, we were kids, we were young teenagers running around, and that's you are. Actually, wasn't a tiger. No, I think we were looking at the tiger skin. She wanted to buy it for her son. It might
Okay.
have been a different it might have been a jaguar because the thing is, my other uncle kept tigers in his backyard, so a lot of weird stuff happened in my childhood in the 80s and 90s that doesn't quite fly today, but it did then. And I was thinking, well, I guess that's not normal, right? So, because I was thinking about this, like, of course, everybody says, "Oh, we source these from Thailand." Because I went to the alligator crocodile farm in Thailand. It actually was in business all the way up to the pandemic. Had been for 50 years, but the pandemic killed it. Because growing alligators and reptiles, crocodiles, whichever they were, it's very expensive. They're carnivores, so you have to have tourism to feed them. Because it's a losing cost if you're not a spectator, you're not using the skins. They're just pets, really.
Right.
So yeah, so we grew up with seeing elephants and petting elephants and using elephant wallets. We never had a problem using an elephant wallet, even though we met the elephant, because we were always told that, well, when we lose an elephant, because elephants are sacred to Thailand. These are not
Right.
just beef cattle. These are sacred animals that they said we use everything from the elephant. So when they give their life and when they pass, we respect it by using their skin. It isn't like we went and farmed elephants. No, they're of course I don't think they really do that anymore. In the 80s it was a little different. We had stingrays. We
Oh,
went
yeah.
and had shark fin soup. Shark fin soup also was not exactly a good sustainable practice. They're only
No.
checking the sharks for the top dorsal fin,
And it's so
and then they're throwing
cruel.
the sharks back
They
out.
throw them
Yeah.
back out and they
So
don't have a dorsal
yeah,
fin.
and then they die. They die.
Yeah.
They become shark food for somebody else. Like the sharks eat sharks. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff that now I think back onto, like, Dad, Aunt, Uncle, maybe this was not the best thing to do. And people wonder why I don't want to move back home and visit my Thai family. I'm like, you guys do questionable things. Do you know how many weird deals my mom has? What do you think of this, Jackie? I said, Mom, no. And this might be why I'm so far opposite into public servant, can't lie to save my life, because I think I was around too much criminal activity as a child.
Oh,
half,
my.
half my family. So, so
D, one of those invasive species is tourists for sure. If an animal has a sacrifice, it's like us, at least. The least we can
You
do
can
is
just use
use
it.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's no human skin bags for some reason.
Well, there used to be books
Oh
covered with
my
human
God.
skin. Yeah. Not gonna say nothing. It's not, it's been done, okay? Because if you look,
Good Lord. Can you imagine?
if there's a way to use something, we have figured it out. Humans are nothing but scavengers, and we will take anything to make it into something we can profit from. We will. The only reason why we are a modicum of any type of social graces is society. We have a society of people that will
Build
look, and if
society, you
people
agree to
left,
pay taxes, you make laws. That's how it
if people
works,
are in, if people are
supposedly.
in, people left to their own devices are vile in
Oh,
groups.
oh, yeah. Oh. If we take away all these laws right now, all of these, all these people that are trying to peer have all these monies on these channels, we trying to get you to buy your human bag, you know.
Yeah. Well, just for example, uh, the Lord of the Flies,
Oh yeah.
the book, The
Oh
Lord of the
yeah.
Flies. That's just that's well, you see that in lots of examples where people have been stranded. What do you do? How did you survive? The Oregon Trail. I mean, classic. Everybody in every school, I think, of an age has known about the Oregon Trail and what happened
You
and
die of
how,
dysentery.
and then we ate them. We ate
Oh,
the
yeah,
people.
then we ate them.
Yeah. Yeah, because there was no food. They ate all the food, everything they had with them. They ate the leather of their shoes, and then they ate the people. And the people that actually survived were the women because they had a higher body percentage fat, so they could live through the harsh environments. To speculation, of course, than the men because they were the. And here's the thing: the Oregon Trail. These people, there was Indians around them that came to them, offered them help and assistance, and they said no, thank you. I'm like, y'all crazy.
Well,
The
the
donor
Indians
party.
didn't have clothes or Bibles, so. Um, the one who the one who had, I think, the human skin lamps was Ed Gein, but I don't know if I spelled his name right. I would have to Google it.
I might be listening to too many true crime stories. Like today, we were talking about
It's
something, and,
addictive.
a friend of James's mother, his name's Dexter, and then my coworker said Dexter. I don't remember the name. Maynor or something, the Dexter from the TV show Dexter, the one that's the serial killer or whatever. And I started, oh,
Dexter Morgan.
I didn't, Dexter Morgan. I didn't correlate it because I don't know. And I said,
Uh-huh.
oh, I said, okay, because James was talking. We are going to actually talk to our pastor and we're going to hold a service for my mother-in-law because
Uh-huh.
she left no wishes, we know not. So we're doing it for us.
Right.
So
Exactly.
so that's something we're gonna talk about. So Dexter was the name of her friend who's a pastor at her church, my mother-in-law's church, for like she was a church
Uh-huh.
she was a warden of that church for like 20 some odd years. And it was so funny because I was telling her that I think one of the things that we disappointed his mother with the most was that when we moved our paperwork from that church, her church, to a different church, and my friend was like, paperwork for church? Like, yeah, we were
Oh,
registered
well, yeah.
members,
Well,
so
yeah.
when you move your membership over, it takes away those two people from that population, from that church to this other church. And people is how you get funding. Church is a business, y'all. It's a business. And
It doesn't pay
so
taxes.
by losing those two people, James and I, it reduced their population. So they can only
Hmm.
so the status of a church, depending, this is the Episcopal Church, so it's different. But the Episcopal Church is and most churches are like this. Most of them of the regular denominations are like this. Catholic Church, they're all like this. They're population driven. So each congregation has to support itself. And if it can't support itself, then it's part of a mission church, which means it doesn't have a full-time staff. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, seriously, the lights do not pay for themselves. you know so yeah, when you get involved into church politics, it's time to back away. Like, I don't want to know.
I know.
I don't want to know. Oh, and speaking of weird church politics, I don't know if you know this, but
This
the
is
Mormon
weird
Church
church
right now,
politics. Huh?
they're in trouble. They're in
Who?
trouble again,
Who?
again. The Mormon Church. If you're Mormons out there, don't come for me, okay? It's not me. I didn't do it. I'm just telling you what I heard. So there's a huge um, person litigation thing right now about how the Mormon Church is systemically hidden from authorities, predators. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, that's the
Yeah,
whole.
but
Yeah,
there's enough people and enough evidence to make it a case. That's the thing. The people know about it, but now there's enough stuff in there that is actually in the middle of a lawsuit, and it's big.
they're
It's big.
marrying all. I mean, I don't know what's going on in the
Yeah.
current lawsuit. I haven't heard or read about it,
Hmm.
but they've been marrying off girls at 9,
Well,
10
that's
for
the
years.
subgroup. This is the main group, though. This is the main group. This is not the subgroup. This is not that one. This is the standard. We aren't those people. We only
Yeah,
marry one person. They do marry young too, but that's not the. That's not the. I know. I know. I won't get in there because my sister. She went to the Mormon church. I have friends in the Mormon church. I'm just saying it's in the news right now. Okay,
yeah.
so judge not. Throwing no stones here. But this was DC. I'm talking about the who removed the tattoos of.
And
Oh,
made
I
lamps.
did not
I did
know
not know
that,
that. So
D.
that's
Oh,
a
that's like the dark, dark
documentary I have
history.
not seen. That's gross.
And I've
And I
been
know
to
Ed
the
Gein.
the
Ed Gein used skin for all kinds of stuff, though. I
yeah.
other than a he's the
Well, I
one
went
that
to the
made the female
Holocaust
suit. That's
Museum.
Buffalo Bill from
And it's based on him. Yeah. Like a
yeah,
lot of
Ed
the best
Gein.
movies
Yeah.
are actually based on a lot of different people. Like
Well,
really
yeah,
when you get
because
into it, it's like crazy town. And you know what? Here's the one thing I also do know from watching true crime documentaries and everything and dash cam, like the body cams footage or whatever, is that everybody lies all the time.
yeah,
There
yeah.
only is
I
good thing
learned that
into it.
working
It
in
does
trauma.
it's like
It's
it's like
amazing what you can get into
they're
when you're
filmed.
minding
They're
your own business.
they're filmed. And it's like I didn't do it. Like we have you on
You,
film.
we filmed you doing it.
So
Yeah,
it's like
it's
anyway, moving on to different topics. Uh, but hey, based on the amount of YouTube out there of people who watch and subscribed in the millions to these channels, Bagland, we're a tiny, small, microcosm.
we are.
People watch shopping hauls.
Yes.
They watch true crime, court TV, a lot of court cases, legal stuff on television. I'm not the makeup world that just fizzled away, and I don't even know if people still watch makeup artists anymore, if they all went to TikTok. But it's like when you're looking at the numbers of amount of subscribers, when we're talking about a million subscribers, it tends to be like trying on clothes and or talking about true crime and anything conspiracy theory, anything remotely conspiracy theory. There'll be like,
Yeah.
I'm talking like the earth is flat or Bigfoot still exists. Any of those things, and you're
There's a
gonna have
squatch in
like
these
a
woods.
million, a million subscribers. I'm
And you're
like
like,
wrong
seriously?
business of loving bags. I should just sit here and talk about conspiracy theories for fun.
We should start
Although,
another channel that's just all conspiracy theories. We can talk about that.
oh,
Ed
oh,
Gein is a believe in American serial killer. Jeanette, cleaning hoarder
oh,
houses.
yes, that's big too. See, my house is a hoarder house, and I think I could do a video just on me straightening
Cleaning.
up. People would watch it, but I
I
don't want
know.
to share that
I
because
need
my
to do. You
cleaning
saw
process
my
is me.
office. It needs a severe cleaning. Should I
Well, yours
film
just
it?
needs like mine, organizing. But see, you do planning, and that is actually part of a planner's life. Is that I have never met. I think the reason why planners are planners is because they like to get organized because they are not organized.
Yeah.
Is to keep them organized. So I think that's just normal. Jolie, okay, Keith, her home is. She's talking about her office where she's sitting, where her planning stuff is. The rest of the house is spotless. It is like a showroom, okay, guys? She has this, it's designed and decorated. You can't walk into my house without walking into stuff. Her house, you can at least walk around it, you know? Vegetarian channel based on
Yes,
her trail cam.
definitely.
You're a nurse. Aren't all nurses super? Oh yeah, she is. She is.
Uh,
So even when she says I've seen her room, it's not compared to even. I think her office might be part like the cleanest part of my house. That's what she's saying needs to be cleaned. Okay, guys? No. She might my house would give her heart issues. Jolie walking into my home would start picking up and cleaning things. I know people like Jolie. They're gonna look at my stuff and they're gonna like, this is not straight. Let me organize this for you. You know, I am that house where if the picture is crooked on the wall, I don't care. Do you know that there's people who walk by pictures on the wall that are crooked and they must stop and straighten them?
well, yeah, everybody's like that.
I know. Yes,
Hi, Dee
that's how
Dee.
I
How are
know.
you?
Hey, Dee Dee Bean. It's jam packed. Oh, Keith, Jenny's is more packed than mine.
Well, she's
Jenny
got other people there.
does Tetrising like nobody's business. Her house is 2,700 square feet, and it is packed to the brim and organized. Well, organized is. She knows where things are roughly, but she has three other people to help make it a mess. James is just James and I. Um, Keith, I have a mini level in the kitchen drawer, and I use. Oh my gosh. My house, Keith, would drive you nuts. Not only do I have crooked pictures on the wall, they're not even with each other, nor are they horizontally or diagonally lined up. They're haphazard and random. It's where I can hang them and where they could fit.
You know those popcorn? I'm talking about when you go to get your car worked on, like at the dealership, and you have to wait. Has anybody experienced this? And they'll have like a popcorn machine in there that's popping popcorn, and people could just go get popcorn out of the popcorn machine or whatever. I'll
Hmm.
tell you, I don't ever do that anymore after I was in there one time. There was this like 4-year-old kid, and he had snot, this green snot running down his nose. And he's constantly, he's got it all over his hands and everything. And then, of course, mom's not paying any attention. And he goes in the popcorn thing, and he's just like digging around in there. And I'm just watching the whole time. And he's digging around in there, and then he gets some out, and then he goes and sits, and his nose is running into it, and he's just, and then it's the popcorn that's in his hand is like a big wet ball of goo because he's just sitting there holding it and talking, and popcorn's falling everywhere. Then he puts that big ball back in the bag, then goes back to the machine and dumps the whole thing back in. And I'm just sitting there going, oh my God, I am never going to eat out of one of those things again.
One time I went to a place that did that, and the next time I went there, it was no longer self-serve, but well, it was self-serve, but it wasn't like put your bucket in. It was put your bucket underneath this dispensing thing and push a button, and the popcorn would funnel in. You know,
Yeah.
because I think exactly what you just said happened.
I'm like, I wanted to warn everyone. And this was before the plague. Now, had it happened, after the plague, I would have gone to management and said, you have to pull
Well,
that thing out of here.
well, speaking of movies, this weekend Captain America comes out, but Rotten Tomatoes gave it really bad reviews. But here's
Oh,
the
well.
thing. Most of the time, bad reviews on Rotten Tomatoes means it's still fun.
Yeah.
But
Well,
normally, so I'm a
Captain
little worried.
America is such a lame, goody goody character. It's like, until you do like the dark side, like Superman and stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How do you do Captain America that's good?
Yes, D. And the thing is that child
I know this is gross,
teaching
but I
kids
saw a lady
to
put her
wash
finger
their
under the
hands.
spigot at Pinkberry and squirt a little out and just suck it off her finger. She did that for like 10 flavors. See, yeah, don't use any of that stuff. Good Lord.
I have enough problems trusting staff in the organization when they have it behind the counters. Even with the good health reviews, because even with the good health reviews, kitchens, it's only when that health inspector inspected them. All that other time, and if you've never worked in the kitchen,
Mm,
you know.
Sorry, Katie. Yeah, when I was a teenager, I used to work in kind of the rough kind part of town because they would hire 14-year-olds and 15-year-olds, which I was. And I was working at a chicken place. And yeah, we had rats, and they had
You
big,
do.
big batter vats, which were just the dry powder. And you could see where the rats would run through it and run up all around and all across everywhere. There was just rat prints everywhere. I didn't do anything about it. Rat poop in it and everything. And they just kept making chicken out of it.
Well, honestly, if you look at what's allowed by the FDA in
It's
your
probably
food,
allowed. Yeah.
just in just in flour, and I'm talking milled
Peanut
flour,
butter.
y'all, you may never eat again. So
I
just don't
know.
look.
Yeah, just don't
Just
look.
don't look.
Let's just
Just
say there's
just
there's a lot of
trust
extra
the cooking
proteins and
process.
things.
Trust the cooking process that it will cook away all the bad things. And there's something I just learned, a new tip, and I hadn't known this. When you want to rinse your vegetables and fruit, use salt water. And I looked at my friend like, salt water? Why salt water? Because that actually cleans your fruit and veg. I'm like, if you just use water, you're not doing a thing.
Right.
I'm like, wait, what? And then, or
Like,
vinegar, you can do a vinegar bath too.
because we're getting chicken eggs now, they come with
Hmm.
like this biome thing, the over thems to protect them out in the,
Hmm.
you can't just rinse it off and use hot water.
Hmm.
You've got to scrub them and use soap. Otherwise, it when they dry, you can see it come right back on.
Well, also that protects them. It keeps your eggs longer. That
Yes.
coating. You can leave them on your counter
Hmm.
with
1 month on the
before you
counter,
remove that. Yeah.
3 months in the fridge.
Well, because in Asia, some things are just weird. Like in America, for me, eggs come out of a refrigerator. Well,
Right.
in Asia, eggs were left on the counter. Everything was bought at the market. And my mother hated whenever I said, Mom, can you make us fried eggs? And she's like, no. I'm like, well, why not? The eggs are cold. I'm like, what does that have to do with it? Because you need to have warm eggs so that when you fry them, they fluff up. Because I'm talking about an omelet, a Thai omelet.
Right.
And I'm like, what? So what she taught us to do was take your eggs from your refrigerator, put it in a warm water bath, just, not too hot because you don't want to cook the eggs, just to get them up to room
Hmm.
temp. Then you can make your omelet, and it's perfect every time. But that's just a weird cultural thing. It's like also in some places milk is warm because when milk comes out of a cow,
It's warm.
it's
Yeah.
warm. It's not until it's been pasteurized and naturalized or whatever they're doing it to it, and then homogenized, and then they chill it. So
Deionized,
yeah, it's like what the heck?
cyanidized.
Like
Yeah.
like again, the thing about milk, guys, you're buying a gallon of milk or whatever your portion of milk you're buying doesn't come from one cow. It comes from a whole lot of cows. It's all
Yeah.
combined, you know. Okay, but more milk is gross. I agree with you. I
Gross.
agree with you. I don't like warm milk. I'm just saying in some cultures, like I didn't grow up drinking milk, because in Asia it's too hot. If you had milk, it would curdle because you couldn't keep it. We didn't eat cheese.
It's not
We kept
natural
it-
anyway. Humans
no,
shouldn't be drinking
it's
cow milk.
it's a very European temperate climate thing. But
Yeah.
in hot climates, we didn't, and you could do it like in colder climates in Asia, like if you're in the Himalayas, they do a lot of goat milk. That's very popular. And even in Mongolia, there's a lot of milk products and really cold places where it's really hard to grow food, but you can have herding animals that can give milk. That's the big thing. But in Southeast Asia, it's hot
Right,
and there's
D.
food growing everywhere. Raw milk is full of
That's
bacteria.
right.
That's why it's
And
pasteurized. Yes.
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
why we're not calves. Calves can fight that.
hmm Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
I don't actually eat that much dairy. I don't eat very much dairy at all. And I have friends who swear by dairy. Like she thinks eating nothing but dairy is the best thing for you. I'm like, dairy is actually not healthy. It's honestly not really that healthy. It's meant for baby cows
Yeah.
and baby animals and even baby humans. We drink breast milk. Milk is meant for babies,
Hmm.
and because we can turn it into something else, which is great, doesn't mean you live on a diet. You just don't. I mean, I
But
love
people do
butter.
love their
Butter's dairy.
fromage. People love
Yeah.
cheese.
I I probably eat more butter as a dairy product than any
Right.
other dairy product. For me, it's butter. You know, although I use a lot of grapeseed oil in my cooking. What kind of oil do you use
If I
when
use
you cook?
oil, a little bit of olive oil, but not very much. A lot of time, I just like to use water.
Mhm. So, Katie, a lot of things about milk is like I don't drink milk, but I love cheese. It's the transformation of the item into something else that turns it into something. Again, humans are geniuses at this. Like, we
Right.
take grain and we turn it into flour, which turns into bread, which we also make into alcoholic fermentation. We do a lot of stuff with stuff. We take corn and we turn it somehow into
Into
high
everything.
fructose corn syrup, you
Yeah.
know? And then, yeah, it's like a lot of stuff. There's a lot of
And
stuff
replace
like
sugar with
changing
it
it.
and start
hmm
making a population of really sick people because of it.
Yep.
And
Butter
didn't
and
even
ice,
tell us. They
Katie.
didn't even tell us they changed everything over to high fructose corn syrup.
And do you
When?
know that
I
people
guess they
get
started
upset?
in the late 80s. We used to have
Yeah,
sugar and
it's like
everything.
And also the other thing that they changed too was, you know how everybody blames Chinese food for MSG? Oh, I can't eat MSG because it's in Chinese food and it just gives me a headache. Do
Mm,
you realize that MSG, which is monosodium glutamate, is in almost every snack food, especially
right,
cheap, low-end snack foods? It is in there. But people are like, oh, I can't eat Chinese. So don't give it. And most Chinese restaurants like, we don't even use MSG. And
right.
MSG in this natural form is actually a seaweed compound is from seaweed. It's actually really good. It's not actually bad for you at all. It makes you. It's a sodium. So it makes you thirsty. So I'm just like, guys, yeah, MSG is great. There's nothing. That's why MSG is in. If you go to the snack aisle, look at the bottom shelf. Your bottom shelf is your cheapest snacks, right? They're going to be the cheapest ones in the grocery store. Look
Yeah.
at the back label. You'll find MSG. Now you'll go to the ones on the top shelf, like what MSG free. They'll say expeller pressed oil, single blah blah blah, no saturated, whatever, and they'll be like $5 or $6. You go to the bottom shelf, and it's potatoes, oil, and it's going to be like MSG, salt.
Yeah. I like to shop just the outskirts, except I've got to get
Yeah.
coffee, but
Mhm.
most everything else is, unless you stop and get some cans of canned soup or something like that. Everything else is
Yeah.
around the outskirts. You don't even need to go down the aisles.
I actually skip a lot of the aisles. I go down the aisles where I know I need to get stuff like the dried beans section. What
Uh-huh.
really bugs me about, okay, I know this is not the food shopping network or whatever, but when you go down the cereal aisle,
Yeah.
across the cereal aisle is the candy aisle. It's strategically placed,
Well,
and it's
cereal is
weird.
candy.
Yeah, well, yes, but also most people going down the cereal aisle are buying cereal for their kids, so it's right across from the candy, and
Right.
a
It's
lot of people
cruel.
take their kids with them. Yes, it is. So it's like, and then if I want to go down I want to get spices. The spice aisle is always next to the baking aisle, which has all the sugar and all the baking
Right.
things, like the cake mixes and all the baking things. And I'm like, it's very smart on how they lay out grocery stores to get people to purchase things. Um, And end
Mm-hmm.
caps tend to be, I got you, kind of like, oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, it's real smart. But as a mother, when you're trying to go down the aisle with your kids, it's a nightmare. So it's like,
My friend is
I
a
see what
nurse.
you're
Well,
doing
she's
to
a
me.
nurse when we were growing up. So she's a nurse, and she had two kids, and her husband was in radiology, and she was a I can't remember what type of nurse she was, but anyway, she was a nurse. And I said, "Well, when do you buy groceries?" Like, because they had the two kids, and she goes, "I go to grocery shopping at midnight." I'm like,
Oh
"What?
yeah, I
The
used
kids
to.
go to
Yeah.
sleep, dad's at home. If I and I can
And I
get
don't have
in,
to
I
take the
can get
kids with
out."
me.
Yeah. And I said, "Well, that's weird." And then I talked to my twin. Okay, so she has children, as we know. And I said, "So how true is this about going to the grocery store with your kids?" She's like, "Don't do it." What do you mean, don't do it?
Just don't
You,
do it.
if you add kids, it adds an hour. If you add a husband, it adds $300. So the cheapest way to do it is to go by yourself, no kids, no husband, and just go in and come out. Because your
Yes.
husband does it, it costs more. He gets the wrong things. The kids go, you end up with a whole basket full of stuff you didn't want to buy and they should be eating.
Yeah, and husbands like to buy things that are in boxes.
Well, one of the first times James went shopping, and this is way, way, way early in our marriage, he went shopping, and usually I did the shopping because we were broke. So he shopped and he came home, and I looked at the food and like,
The hell am I going to make from
so
this?
you didn't buy anything to eat? And he's like, he bought stuff like, well, chili and like chips and like, I mean, snack food, boy food, literally boy food. I said,
Yep.
you didn't actually buy anything to cook. It's
You
like you
can't make
just
any meals out of
cook.
what you brought home. It's like, uh-huh.
But then, I've learned that most people don't know how to, um, a lot of people cook by recipe and they cook by certain things. Like that's why
I
box
rarely,
food,
I
because it
rarely
comes with
do.
instructions. Yeah,
To me, recipe books are just
our guideline, a starting
I
point.
flip through. Yeah, it's a starting point. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. I can make that. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. I can make that. But do I sit down and write that recipe down? No, no. I
And
just
and the
make it.
thing is, like, I've always told James, like, and we've been married what since 2007, right? So I said, within you can eat whatever you want to in the refrigerator. If you eat something I plan to use to cook, I can just go buy more stuff.
I'm the same way. I don't care.
We live right next down to the grocery store, but his family was different because where he grew up was in the middle of the boonies. He was 30 minutes from any shopping, and
Right,
a gas station was 30 minutes away. So he lived down dirt road. I mean, it was so the food that was in the house had a purpose and a reason. So his parents had it there to make a certain meal. So if they came home and
right,
ate something, like the fridge was almost like sacred, do not touch, because guaranteed if they took the bread and ate sandwiches, that was supposed to be their dinner, and they ate all the bread and there's no more bread. So
well, you
James,
have
even
to.
though we've been married for so many years, he still gets this anxiety about going to the fridge and getting something to eat. And I said,
Right.
"Sir,
Now you're gonna lose that. Yeah.
everything in this everything in this fridge, you can eat anything you want." I says, "There's nothing." I go to the grocery store with an idea, and I'll go in there and I say, "Okay, I was gonna make mushrooms. Those mushrooms suck. I'm not making mushrooms now. I'm gonna go
Right.
get this over here." I get what looks good at the market, and then I make food for what I got, right? I don't go with, I must make mushrooms, so it doesn't matter if these mushrooms suck, I'm gonna buy these mushrooms. Like, no, those mushrooms are not worth my dollars. I'm not buying those mushrooms. So I'm gonna go make a different dish. But James doesn't, like, he's a guy, so he's like a recipe dude. He wants a box thing. Like, when I met him, and he was single, living at home, he was living with his parents. Um, come driving into work because he had graduated, he just started, we were both broke, and he was making these box chicken bakes. So it's like these rice casseroles with and all you had to do was add the chicken, right, and you bake it. To this day, James hates chicken breast because that's all he ate these weird box meals where all you do is add the meat, you throw it in the oven, and you eat half for lunch and then half for dinner. He did that for like forever. And it
Okay.
was
Yeah.
horrible. It's like my friend, when she first started cooking, she started cooking um, hamburger helper. And I looked at her like, that's really not very good. And you honestly can do the same thing for cheaper. But it's not that they could do it for cheaper differently. They didn't know how. She didn't know how to
Yeah,
cook.
definitely hamburger helper you can do a lot cheaper. Just buy spices and buy like
And pasta.
turkey or whatever ground meat you want, or
It's a
whatever.
rice, it's a
And just
pasta.
do it yourself. You
Yeah.
do a pasta or a rice and then whatever you
Yeah.
else. I mean,
Well,
why
after
buy it in a
she
box?
after she learned by cooking, she realized she didn't have to. And now this is the same woman. Buys dried black beans by the 40-pound bag to make her own black beans and can them because she's like, it's cheaper. This is the same girl who used to live off rice-a-roni and like, she learned. She had 4 kids and they
Right.
were broke. So she learned how to do that.
I love making
I was like,
black beans and rice, but I need to get
I
myself
need
some
your
brown
recipe.
rice.
I still want to make that. Um, okay, we were talking. She said 2 cups of black beans, dried black beans, to 8 cups of water. Was that
Yeah,
right?
if you're going to do them under high pressure and I think it's
Yeah.
8 minutes
And
or
she put,
something like that. I can't remember. But
I
you
want
can
to do
find
it.
it on YouTube.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot of frozen food. How often do you cook? Once a week, D. Oh, well, I miss what D says. Um, I do cook 8 to 10 or 12 portions. Oh yeah, actually, you know what? My freezer saved us this week. So 3 weeks ago, I made chili or whatever before my vacation, and it was a huge pot of chili. So we froze. I said, James, put half of it in the freezer and we'll eat this week. And then we ate so much chili, we were sick of it. And
Yeah,
then we went on vacation. We came back. I didn't have time to make anything or prep anything. So I said, James, so the one day this week, I just pulled the chili out of the freezer, put it in the bag. We grabbed some bowls, went to the office. I said, hey, take that out of the cooler bag. It needs to thaw some more because it was solid. It was solid, right? So by the time lunch comes around, we can just microwave it. And and all of a sudden, I'm so sick of chili. I never want to eat this again. Became the best food we've ever had because when you're hungry, you're
right.
hungry.
Yeah.
So, and we've done
I
that with a
just got
couple
some
casseroles.
containers to
You know,
start pre-making a bunch of food for myself too, because when I pre-make my food, when I do all the meal planning, my weight just goes. So,
well, one is the
factors,
convenient
meals,
factor, and food. The reason why food out tastes good is mostly because there's a huge amount of salt. And you're
right?
like, it's not salty, it's hidden salt. There's a lot of salt in food. And then there's a lot of fats in there. Not just, I mean, I'm not talking like intrinsic fats. I mean, just like when they cook the food, there's sugar, salt, and fat. These are the things our brain loves. Sugar is an addiction, right? So
Oh
they put
yeah,
it in the food. You know, and you think it tastes great, and like, why does my hamburger never taste as good? Well, maybe if you
it's probably
put
full
the
of sugar.
same, yeah, it's like it's in the mix. It's like it's literally in the mix, you
It's
know.
awful.
So, because like when you make food and you just use food with very little seasoning, you're like, I don't. And I used to get so annoyed. Like I don't buy frozen chicken anymore because frozen chicken, is frozen with a saline solution. It plumps up the weight content volume also,
Of
and
course,
so it also puts hidden
salt.
salt in your food. And it's like, and I always like, I am that weird person that if you're a restaurant and I go to your restaurant and you tenderize your meat, I know it. I can taste it. A lot of Chinese restaurants, Asian restaurants, they'll take a tougher piece of meat and then they will either use, there's cream of tartar, or you can use baking soda, water, and then it changes the texture of the meat because it starts to break it down, and then you stir fry it and cook it. And most people, oh, I love this! It's so tender, it's so juicy. It's not because they're giving you a good cut of meat; it's because they tenderized it. But I can taste the baking soda. I can taste the tenderizer. So I am one of those like, I'm never coming back here.
Right. I was shocked when I found out the reason why shrimp scampi at restaurants is so good because they literally use one whole stick of butter for each portion.
Probably why I don't actually like shrimp scampi.
I don't like shrimp scampi much either. I used to when I was a kid and through my 20s or so, 20s and 30s. I liked it, but
Well, I
not
liked it
anymore.
because of the garlic. And then when they got to places
Mm-hmm.
that didn't use garlic that much or use garlic, garlic is not the same as using fresh garlic. And
Right.
I am not judging anybody for using garlic, but garlic has a different texture, you
Oh
know?
yeah.
So it's a different, yeah, so it's like, it's not the same. You have to use 3 times the amount. Um,
Yeah, it's kind of just blah.
mhm.
Well,
Anyway,
well,
I
now
know.
we've talked about everything but,
Food.
bags, jarlic. Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one, Keith. um, okay, so goodbye. No, just kidding.
Well,
It's
tomorrow
been an
I will be
hour.
live on Valentine's Day. I'll be live tomorrow. So if all y'all
Really?
aren't doing anything, um,
I know
well, I
y'all
mean,
aren't doing anything. All right, who's got a
unless Super
date
Jacob,
tomorrow?
yeah.
Oh,
Well,
is he
I
going to be
won't.
live?
I'll be home. You guys,
Yeah,
I'll
I
be
know. I'll be
home.
home.
I will go to work and I will come home. I will be here. So I'm sure somebody will be home with me. Because you know what? I bet a lot of people are going out this weekend who do
Right.
celebrate. I don't do Valentine's Day. I've never have. I've always thought of Valentine's Day. My dad used to give us candy, and I thought that was
Yeah.
so sweet and nice.
Yeah,
But
it is.
honestly, as well, James and I have never celebrated this, and I told James it's like it's a
We got
Hallmark.
into a little tradition at the beginning. We would always buy each other a little gift for Valentine's Day. And 2 years in a row, we both bought each other clean white tennis shoes.
That's funny.
Brand new leather tennis
No,
shoes.
we
Kids
are
of the
not going
80s.
out to a fancy dinner. First of all, the restaurants during Valentine's Day and Valentine's weekend are packed, overpriced, and the food isn't that good. You know, I would rather, and we were when we were driving home today, they had the side of the road stall, and these people had all these big bouquets, like basket bouquets of flowers and
Oh, yeah, yeah,
teddy
yeah.
bears. And I kind of scoffed as we drove by them. And then James pushed pause on his podcast. And he goes, "Who actually would be happy to get those?" I said, James, honestly, a lot of women I know would love them. But truthfully, I think it's just going to be young kids. And here's the thing, as someone who worked in retail, most men Most men typically wait till
Yes, they
the day
do.
of the event. They run into the
And,
first
well,
store
that's
they
because they heard
see,
it from a guy at
grab
work.
grab the first thing they see. So their thought process is oh, that's there, I'll buy that. And they said, but James is like, who wants that? I'm like, James, you are rare. You are a caring and considerate human being. And you would never buy that for me because you would realize, well, that's just a stupid gift to give my wife. Where other men just see, I just
Matt's
need
the
to get
same
her
way. He doesn't
something.
give me stuff,
And
stupid
I was like,
stuff either.
and I said, James, if you came home and you gave me the $60 basket or whatever, I would have said, James, how much did you spend on that? And he would have said $60. I said, honey, I would rather have bought 2 bags off of Goodwill. And you know that, which is why you don't buy me those things. If you
Right.
buy me a $10 or a $20 item or a Disney thing or a little stuffed teddy bear, yes, you know, but again, when I opened my gift from Kim for Valentine's,
Oh, yeah.
I am dead serious. My
It was
family,
good.
my husband, my sister, they would not have done that as well. She got me. She got me. She understood that I love Disney, and she just like and
Well, all of us that
mhm,
kind of that do this in this little bitty microcosm all kind of like the same things.
mhm.
Only
It's really
only we know like your idiosyncrasy, of course, will be Disney version, but yeah,
I love Coach. I love Dooney. You know, the only
right.
reason I have anything else different is because I met Craig. So now I have Ralph Lauren and I have Reed Karkoff. Before that, it was just pretty much Dooney and
Hi,
Coach, and
Scott.
had I had the random Patricia Nash and Fossil and Michael Kors and Kate Spade, the normal, you know. Oh, if you guys have not seen, hey, it's just fabulous. If you guys have not seen the Michael Kors runway show, it is amazing. Scott, you need to see it. It's beautiful. The Coach runway show, so good. It's very streetwear, and I was
It is, yeah.
who they're making that clothes for, because if you go to the Coach boutique, that's not the vibe of the Coach boutique at all. There's
Oh
actually
no.
wear on the Coach site that if it came in my size, I would buy it. There's a jacket on there right now. I would buy it in a heartbeat. But Coach does not make my size. Michael Kors does. And Michael Kors has some really good clothes. Scott says, "Did you see Calvin Klein Runaway?" But I must look. See, I like Calvin
Yeah, there was a lot of black. Yeah. I haven't seen
Klein
Calvin Klein either.
MO. Yeah, I'll have to.
Who were we
I
watching
was so
earlier today on
impressed.
Jacobs? I would walked out and came back
That
in. He
was
was,
Coach.
was it,
Yeah,
oh yeah, I
that was
saw
Coach.
Coach.
But you
No, there
know
was
who
another
was
one where
really
everybody
disappointed?
was wearing black too. And he was saying it was very
Oh,
Berlin.
what was that? Black, black, black. Hmm. No, that was Coach. He said it was very disparate. It was like should be considered thrift store chic, super expensive,
Thrift,
black
thrift
leather
store
coat
chic.
with like
Yeah.
the long belts that Vivian did. Now he was listing all the
Oh
inspirations
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
well, this is interesting and blah blah blah. I don't know enough fashion history. All I know is I don't know who they're making that for because I don't see the people where I live wearing that. You know,
No.
um, I did
And
go.
streetwear we kind of do ourselves anyway. Okay. I think we should wrap it up. Bye. Thanks for stopping by.